After our theory, we have to answer the test. So that's how it's gonna work. So I will display the light, but at the moment it is fake sponana. Sikhulume before siya ku display. So, to as far as I know, this is not your first time to hear about safety. You are working in a working environment where they tell you about safety, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So safety is not something new to you guys. Mm-hmm. So as usually, we always start by a definition because we are doing what we call SHE-REP. Mm-hmm. So SHE is an abbreviation, isn't it? Yes. For safety, health, and environmental representative. Mm-hmm. So you guys, you are going to become safety, health, and environmental representatives. So as you are going to be such a representative, you are representing health at the workplace. You are representing safety at the workplace. For who? For the environment and the people within this workplace. So in doing so, when we are managing health and safety is managed by laws. So we don't just wake up and do dilly-dallying. But we wake up and look at what does the law says. So I remember we once met when we did legal liability, so I will be quickly just summarizing the concept of the structure of OHS Act 85 of 1993, which I have already told you that it has 50 sections, this act, isn't it? With these 50 sections, Section 7 is the health and safety policy. A company is required to have a health and safety policy. A health and safety policy and procedures will now assist you in the implementation of safety compliance within an organization. So which means here at State Mola, you will be governed by your internal health and safety policy, because when a health and safety policy is promulgated or is being drafted, it is drafted with the reference of the laws. So no SHE-REP can become a SHE-REP without understanding your internal policy and procedure. So let's hope you guys, you did go through your health and safety policy and procedure. You know it by head. So that if I ask for it, whatever you told me, I'll find it in the health and safety policy, right? Yeah. So even if you have some hiccups here and there, but it is my recommendation to you that soon after this training, you must know your health and safety policy, because that's how we manage safety. We manage it with facts. We manage it with procedures. Are you getting it? So Section 16.1, as I have told you, will be our CEO of the company who automatically takes the duties of the employer. So your employer is your 16.1. But you might find that your 16.1 is not here at this site. They will give you a 16.2. You have your 16.2 here, isn't it? Yes. So 16.2 is an appointee from the 16.1. So that is your employer here. All the duties of the employer must be performed by the 16.2, which is to make sure that the workplace is safe, free from harm, dangers, and hazards. Making sure that there is no use of dangerous substances, making sure that hazards are identified, risks are assessed, and all the risks are controlled. Making sure that he provides functional equipment, serviceable equipment, reporting of all accidents and incidents, investigating any incidents. Are you getting it? As well as promote safety culture. Then, under Section 8.1, we have line managers. I think you guys, you have managers in your department, or you are the managers. No. Which position do you have?
We are just artisans.
You are artisans. But you know, artisans, you might become automatically 8.2. Are you working with assistants?
Yes.
Yeah, as long as you are working with an assistant, you are a supervisor. Are you getting it? You supervise your assistant, because your assistant is not trained. He doesn't know what is right and what is wrong in the artisan work. But you guys know, if you do this, it's hazard. If you do this, so they cannot perform without your instructions. They cannot perform without your guidance. So you also carry the duties of the 8.2 because you are supervising someone under you. Are you getting it? So section 8.1 is the duties of the employer. 8.2 is 8.1. We are now looking at the appointed people who take care of the duties of the employer again in assistance with the 16.2. Are you getting it? So we have 8.1, the line managers. They carry out also the duties of the employer. Then you guys, 8.2, carry the duties of the employer. All that for us to be perfect in providing health and safety and promoting the safety culture within an organization, we need to be reminded always that safety culture is made up of 4 C's, which is, number 1, to control any hazards and risks within the company. When we control, number 2, we communicate. So we are communicating with those that we are working with. Guys, this is a hazard. So for you to be safe, these are the control measures that we put in place. That's a communication. When you communicate, the people that you are communicating to, they must now what? Cooperate. So the third C is cooperation. Then you cooperate as a company following those what? Control measures and making sure there is no work that can take place without the control measures in place. Then when the control measures are in place, we now have to look at competence. Are you competent to do what you are doing? If you are not competent, then you need to undergo training so that you'll be competent. So that is safety culture. So safety culture manages your workplace, employees, and your employers. It also promotes the safety systems of the work to make sure that every designation that is taking place within an organization is based on safety systems. Looking at, are you understanding the control measures in place? Are you able to communicate what must be done? Are you able to cooperate with what we have? Are you competent to do it? So you cannot be a supervisor of riggers when you yourself, you are not a rigger. Because how are you going to identify the hazards when you are not a rigger? So you can only be a supervisor of riggers if you are a rigger because you are competent. If you are competent, you can be able now to what? To interpret, isn't it? Because it's very difficult to interpret something that you don't know. So you have to know something about, you have to know something in order for you to interpret it. So that is what we call safety culture. So that is how we can manage the safety culture. So those are the lines that we are going to play on, talking about the legislation, because the legislation align everyone to meet what? The requirements of achieving certain goals that we set. So wherever we start with we need to have a SMART plan. So when I refer to SMART, we are referring to everything that we do must be specific, must be manageable, must be achievable, must be realistic, and must be time bound. Singafika ukuthi siyayazi izinto zifanele zenziwe njani, but we don't have deadlines when we must do certain things. So if incident occurs during such period, then it means people are in danger. So that is why we have to make sure that our plans are smart. Then section 24 requires every company to report any incident. So there are when we come internally within an organization, you must report every incident what? Immediately. So internal reporting must be done immediately. Then there are certain incidents that must be reported to the Department of Labor. Like if it involves the death of someone, or like if it happens that a person became unconscious, a person didn't manage to be at work for 14 days due to the injury or illness that has been resulted from the workplace. There was a dangerous spillage that became uncontrollable. A person became disabled. Are you getting it? Those incidents must be reported to the Department of Labor. A machinery ran out of control. Those incidents must be reported to the Department of Labor. If you fail to report such incidents, it means you are contradicting Section 24 of OSHA Act 85 of 1993. By contradicting any section, it means you are undermining the law. And as we all know, no one is above the law. We are all controlled by the law. So everything that we do must be within the jurisdiction of the law. That is why we are talking about sections. So you guys as She-Reps, as well as 8.2, is your duty to create a conducive environment where people are encouraged to report any incident immediately to you. Then also in an environment where you are open enough to report incidents that fall under COIDA, Compensation of Occupational Injuries and Diseases Act. They have to be reported according to the requirements of COIDA. Then when all incidents are reported, Section 31 requires a company to investigate all incidents. All incidents must be investigated within 7 days. That is what Section 31 tells. So when we are talking about an incident, I think you are aware there is a difference between an accident and an incident. What is an accident? What is an incident?
An incident is something that nearly happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then an accident, it's I would say it's a hazard that has occurred.
Okay. So an incident is something that if is not controlled, it can cause what? Harm, danger, loss, or death. An accident is an unplanned event which have already occurred and caused harm, loss, danger, or injuries, isn't it? So we are talking about incident investigation, which means in simple ways of understanding the thing, we must investigate all near misses. But now we have to create that's why I said a conducive environment where people are encouraged to report. Because how are we going to investigate if we don't report? Are you getting it? So if I report now that on my way coming here, I was nearly involved in an accident, then you guys will start saying, why? Because you were drunk. Here you start to interrogate me. Do you think tomorrow I will report? I won't. Then how are you going to investigate to find the root cause? Because the reason for Section 31 encourages the incident investigation is for us to identify or to uproot the root cause, to analyze the root cause of the incident, so that we can put control measures to avoid reoccurrence of the same incident. Then Section 37 is contractors. I know you guys, you work with contractors. When contractors we are talking about mandatories under Section 37. That's mandatories. So when we are talking about mandatories, we are looking at agreements. We are looking at also how you manage contractors. So agreements start from you as employees when you are signing your contracts. Then contractors also, when they come, they send their safety file. You review their safety file if it is in alignment with what you guys need. Then when they come, you manage them based on their safety file. Employees also being managed based on the contract agreements that you sign. That is Section 37. And no one is allowed to deviate from the agreement. If you deviate from the agreement, it means you are going against the law, because those agreements are legal documents as per the requirement of Section 37. Then Section 38 is penalties now. You fail to do what the law requires you to do, then you face the wrath of law. Penalties. Employees, if they fail to do what they're supposed to do according to the requirements of the law, yes, they can be apprehended by law, whether to pay a fine of 50,000 or being in prison for 1 year or both. If an employer fails again, a fine of 100,000 or 2 years in prison or both. Are you getting it? Yes. But here we are talking about OSHA, but we do have fines from the ECA. I think we once discussed with you the ECA. You remember the ECA, Environmental Conservation Act. Then I also discussed with you the NEMA, which is the National Environmental Management Act. So those comes with the higher fines, like the ones that we took, or the ones that we are discussing under the OSHA Act. So you guys, you are appointed under Section 17. So soon after this training, your appointment will be quoted as a requirement of the Section 17 compliance. Then your duties being explained as they are from the Section what? 18. Are you getting it? So she-rep is only found under Section 17. The duties being explained under Section 18. Then Section 19, you automatically also become what? The safety committee, because Section 19 requires a safety committee within an organization. So every she-rep must be part of the committee, which means the duties of the safety committee under Section 20, they are also your duties. So she-rep, they will automatically perform the duties of Section 18 as well as the duties of Section 20. That's an automatic duty that you guys will be taking when you accept the appointment. So that is where we are going to play around during our training. Then as you are employees, which means Section 13 is your right. Your rights are also explained under Section what? 13. Then your duties under Section 14. So that is where we are going to play around. So that is just I just give you an overview because I once met you before. I have explained this so that we will understand that this what we are doing is not just Stan Muller deciding to send you for training. It's a legal requirement, which means you need also to perform your duties what? Perfectly, without endangering anyone's health and safety. So is there any question in regards to this?